got their sweatshirts on.
A little bit chillier today. So, Coach, how was practice?
Chilly, 60.
How's practice coming back in the bye week?
Today was good. The kids were back in the building yesterday, got a lift, and got some good work in today. Just pushing forward, and obviously trying to correct some things as well.
Josh, you talked on Monday about the challenge that this team faces, whether they want to keep fighting or let things happen.
I think it's unique, right? Football team that hasn't lost many football games, and with the bumps in the road early in the year, the kids were resilient, came back, and that's still, the challenge before us. And the challenge is, who are we going to be, together, collectively, individually, and are we going to finish? And I believe that this group will.
Are there players speaking up in team meetings this week, and if so, who are they?
I think our football team's got a bunch of different leaders on the football team, and guys that are going to continue to press upon them why they're playing and how important it is to finish the right way.
For a team that hasn't lost, obviously, the last 2 years, is it a team that maybe had to learn how to handle losing? Are you saying that?
You don't want to learn how to handle it, right? I think it's different, absolutely. It's a form of adversity that this group hadn't had to deal with the last couple of years. You know what I mean? And obviously last year's bowl game, but you're out of the building for 10 days and come back and you're on to your second semester and heading into spring ball, new season. So it is different, and it's one that will make our football team better.
How have you seen the players respond so far this week?
They've been great. Today out on the practice field, good energy, competitive, worked hard, and from everything I understand, we're great in the meeting rooms. I don't anticipate anything other than that from this group.
The timing of the bye week, just to have to wait another week before you get out there.
Yeah, good and bad, right? With every bye week, if you lose a game, you want to get back out and get the taste out of your mouth, right? If you're playing really well, sometimes you want to keep rolling. End of the day, it comes when it comes. Opportunity for some guys that inevitably are a little bit nicked up to get healthy and get some young guys work and try to correct the things that we need to as well.
What did you see from the offensive line last week, just in terms of not being able to establish a ground game and giving up a lot of pressures and sacks that Tulsa really hadn't been able to do all year until that game?
The consistency in the run game, right? Had a couple of big explosive plays. Not nearly as consistent as we had been and we can be. But that was in all areas of the game, in the second half in particular, right? Throwing and catching, decision making, protection, ground game, all those things. We didn't do anything the way that we're capable of, and that's on all of us.
Do you emphasize penalties a little bit more this week, especially?
We emphasize penalties. We talk about penalties. We talk about the turnovers too, right? Anyone can look at the stats from the 3 games where we've ended up on the wrong side of the scoreboard and understand there's a lot of plays out there that can help turn the tide, right? But at the end of the day, turnovers and penalties have been a big part of why the game's played out the way that it has. We have controlled that. We've gotten better, at times during the year. We were not good Friday night.
What about the penalties like the unsportsmanlike, that when emotions kind of take a toll and those are very...
Who are we going to be as competitors? Be fierce from snap to whistle and don't do anything before the snap and after the whistle that takes away from what the team's trying to accomplish. And there's a lot of penalties that change the way a drive was played, negatively on the offense side of the ball, put you in long yardage situations, and defensively extended or continued a drive for them, gave them a new set of downs.
With the goals kind of shifting and being out of control, at what point do you kind of look big picture, or do you always stick, it's 1-0, it's the very slim, immediate?
I think it's always the immediate, right? And understanding long term where you want to go, from my perspective, right? But I think we've tried to impress upon our kids the urgency of today, controlling what you can control. That's when it's going well. That's when you're coming off of a form of adversity, and if you control today, that will lead you in the right path to the next big day, the next opportunity that you have.
Do you see opportunities in the next, with 2 games left and then a bowl game? Do you see opportunities maybe to get some younger guys, maybe some opportunities on the field?
Young guys that have been earning it, you know what I mean? I think, there's a couple of guys that we've been maybe holding a game or two for them down the stretch to have the opportunity to play. They've been practicing really well, so there may be a guy or two like that, but we're going to play the guys that have been playing.
Ryan O'Keefe seems to be one of those guys. He got out there against Tulsa, but he hadn't played much this year. What about Ryan?
Yeah, just in the middle stretch of the year, he's played a lot of special teams or some special teams for us, and has continued to grow and develop. And he's been really good and consistent in the way that he's practiced, and that led us to wanting to play him in that football game, and he'll get more snaps as the season unfolds as well.
What about with Dylan? I mean, you want to, obviously coming off a rough performance in that loss.
Right.
I mean, how do you kind of keep him kind of pushing forward and kind of maybe putting that on the
I
back
think
of his
that's the
mind?
challenge for every player. It's the challenge for every young player. It's the challenge for a quarterback. He understands he didn't play his best football, in particular in the second half of that football game, and has to take care of the football, be a good decision maker, and be accurate with the football. And he's been good. It hurts him, right? He takes ownership of it, and he's got a lot of pride, and wants to always put his football team in a position to win a game. So it hurts him, but he'll bounce back. He had a great day today, and expect nothing less than that of him in the meeting room on the practice field.
What do you want to see from your players just in this bye week and going into next week to another road game where you have
do what they did today, man. Competed hard. They took coaching, and my understanding wasn't in every meeting room, right? But the meetings went well. Expect those guys to be consistent in who and what they are, and we ended up on the wrong side of it, right? And there's a lot of things that we can do to be better to control that and be on the right side of it. It's our job to continue to push, get better, and ensure that we're going to have the opportunity to go play our best football when we get our next chance.
With all 3 losses on the road, is there one thing or something that stands out from those 3 games that makes it different than playing at home? I mean, obviously it's different.
Well, it is, right? You're not staying in the same hotel. At the end of the day, we've turned the ball over. You know what I mean? I think it's the number one indicator winning and losing football games. We've been on the wrong side of it. I think it's 9-2 in those games, and I think we've lost by a total of 7 points, right? Every turnover is basically a 7-point swing, and points you gain off of it or give up, between the two phases. And we got to do a better job of taking care of the football, and we have at times, and haven't done a good enough job, and that's taking care of it, and then also getting turnovers.
Is Greg McRae, is he back at practice?
Yeah, he's been good and full go today, and practiced a lot last week. I said that late in the week. Just felt like didn't want to play him in that football game, and he was close to being 100% and ready to go, but did feel like it was the right time with a bye week coming on the back end of it, and being sure to get him all the way back to 100%.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Coach.
All right.